Hey everybody, Danny Milton here, the VP of Content for Teddy Baldassarre. And today we're not looking at a new watch necessarily, but one that was released back in 2018 to wide acclaim and a lot of fanfare. It brought back the iconic Pepsi bezel in aluminum form that everybody loves. Of course, I'm talking about the Tudor Black Bay GMT. A lot has happened with Tudor's travel watch lineup since the introduction of the original Black Bay GMT in 2018. With a release that coincided with the reintroduction of the Rolex GMT Master 2's Pepsi colorway, fans were delighted to have a Pepsi-adjacent option from Tudor. Since then, the brand hasn't wasted any time expanding their Black Bay GMT offerings, with the steel and gold 41mm variants arriving along with the 39mm Black Bay Pro in 2022, the Black Bay GMT with a white opaline dial the following year, the Black Bay 58 GMT in 2024 and updated in 2026, and an opaline Black Bay Pro in 2025. That's a whole lot of choice. So how does the OG black-dialed 41mm Black Bay GMT sit within the lineup today? Surprisingly well, especially for those with average to larger wrists. So is the original Black Bay GMT the right one for your wrist? Let's take a closer look. Let's start off with the case, one of the bigger points of discussion when it comes to the Tudor Black Bay GMT. The 41mm diameter wears slightly larger than its stated size due to the more slab-like, straight case sides and 50mm lug-to-lug measurement. But it's worth mentioning that the case height of 14.6mm is mitigated somewhat by a wide bevel on the lower edges of the reverse side of the mid-case, sloping toward the screwed-in caseback. In practice, this reduces the perceived thickness of the case, which allows it to sit lower on the wrist. In addition, the lugs feature a pronounced downturn, which also aids in the wear experience. So while this is a larger watch, it is proportional and never feels cumbersome for those that lean toward larger case sizes. Finishing of the stainless case is typically excellent, standard operating procedure for Tudor, with front-facing surfaces receiving a circular brush, with a slim, polished bevel and polished case sides adding a bit of dressed-up flair. Front and center at the top of the case is the bezel, with its red and blue 24-hour aluminum insert giving off strong vintage vibes. While the insert does raise the possibility of scratching and wear when compared to ceramic, the colorway is more muted than the brighter rendition of the Rolex's Cerachrom version for those that like the throwback look. The coin edge texture offers plenty of grip, and the bidirectional execution features a crisp 48 clicks, which allows for the half-hour increments found in certain time zones, such as Newfoundland, parts of Australia, and India. Inside the bezel rests a domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside, bringing another retro touch to the proceedings. The unguarded screw-down crown is a snap to operate with its 8mm diameter and assertive ribbed texture, making time setting that much easier. True to the Black Bay design ethos, it's signed with the traditional Tudor rose in relief. The solid screwed-in caseback gets a tool watch-appropriate brushed finish, with engraving at the perimeter announcing the watch's manufacturer caliber within. There's also plenty of open space on the caseback that allows for engraving, should you choose to personalize your watch. Combined with the screw-down crown, the Black Bay GMT attains a true dive watch water resistance of 200 meters for added peace of mind, especially for those traveling to a tropical beachfront destination. Wearing the Black Bay GMT brings the familiar 3-link style bracelet, with the substantial vertically brushed links flanked by a small polished section and the inclusion of faux rivets. Some may not be the biggest fan of the look, but the vintage-leaning appearance is a note-perfect complement to the watch's overall design. The signed flip-lock clasp is nicely milled and elevated with the use of spring-loaded ceramic balls that resist wear when opening and closing the bracelet. If you prefer, Tudor also offers the Black Bay GMT on a luxurious black fabric strap with a burgundy center stripe, and the 22mm lug width offers nearly unlimited aftermarket options, with Tropic-style rubber as another great alternative. Transitioning to the dial, it follows the Black Bay design codes in terms of its overall look. The matte black backdrop is all business, cutting down on any reflective character with a finely pebbled texture that appears under closer examination. Starting at its outer reaches, the dial has a simple printed minute and hour track with applied indices a bit further inward, the silver-colored metal filled with Swiss superluminova. The Black Bay DNA is present in their shape, with rectangles at 6 and 9, an inverted triangle at 12, and circular indexes everywhere else apart from the bevel date window at 3. Dial printing continues with 3 lines above and below the center stack, with the Tudor shield and wordmark atop Genève below 12, and GMT above the watch's officially certified chronometer status above 6. The handset also follows a Black Bay playbook, with snowflake tips on the hour, second, and red GMT hands, and a pencil-style minute hand, all with the same green glowing lume infill. One thing to note is that the hands themselves are slightly narrower than those found on other Black Bay dive models, allowing space for easier legibility. You'll also notice that the dial sits ever so slightly closer to the crystal to account for the added height of the GMT movement, a smart detail that keeps the case height down. Inside is the manufacturer caliber MT5652, a movement that was introduced with the 2018 launch of the Black Bay GMT. The MT5652 marked the first GMT version of Tudor's manufacturer movements, and it was notable for having a fully integrated architecture and true flyer functionality, as opposed to an office or collar configuration where the GMT hand moves independently. In practical use, a flyer GMT is appealing to frequent travelers for its independently adjustable hour hand, easily set upon arrival to your destination without stopping the second hand, while the GMT hand shows the time at home. In terms of performance, the MT5652 runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour, or 4 Hz, has an extended 70-hour power reserve, and the movement is independently COSC certified to -4 + 6 seconds per day. The movement also features a non-magnetic silicon hairspring, as well as a variable inertia balance with a micro-adjustment screw, secured by a robust traversing bridge with 2-point anchoring. The MT5652 is finished simply but cleanly, with some radial brushing and laser engraving hidden behind the solid caseback. While the Black Bay GMT may not be master chronometer certified like more recent Tudors, the movement brings solid COSC performance and reliable build quality to the table. Next, we're going to look at the pros and cons of the Tudor Black Bay GMT, and as I like to do, we're going to start off with the cons. In terms of cons, this watch is not necessarily for smaller wrists, unless you're one that likes a big watch. The faux rivets on the bracelet can be a divisive look for some, and have caused many a conversation in forums across the internet, but again, your mileage may vary, and if you're into that sort of thing, then it will absolutely be for you. Now, given how many new Tudor releases there have been since 2018, there is no T-fit that has been retrofitted into this watch in the clasp. That means no on-the-fly micro-adjustment. This doesn't have the Master Chronometer METAS certification, though it still is COSC certified. In terms of the pros, you get a great vintage-inspired look. The Pepsi colorway is an absolute classic, and overall the watch is nicely finished. It is a true flyer GMT in terms of its functionality, meaning you get the independent use of the hour hand. And, as I've stated a couple times, it has a robust manufacturer chronometer movement. Overall, the Tudor Black Bay GMT persists today after its launch in 2018, and it maintains itself as a perfect watch for those who like a substantial and fully functional tool watch from a heritage brand with handsome heritage looks. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the bell icon, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, it really does help. And if you're in the market for a new watch, head over to teddybaldassarre.com. We are an authorized retailer of over 35 brands, and every new watch purchase comes with a full factory warranty, dedicated customer support, and quick and fast fulfillment. And if you're ever in the Cleveland, Ohio area, please come check out our brand new flagship boutique. It is 4 times the size of our previous store with 4 times the brands. Whether you're in store or online, we'd love to be able to help you find your next watch. And that's going to do it for me here on the channel, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.